Hey everybody, I'm Katrina from In Cat We Trust on another episode of Kicking Back with Cat, and here I have with me Billie Starkz. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, hanging in there. So you have come into the wrestling scene pretty recently, it seems, but you've kind of taken the indie world by storm. So how is that for you as far as like people recognizing that you're kind of a force to be reckoned with?
It's been really exciting and I didn't truly it didn't hit me until being part of PWI 500 and being part of the top independents today. It really shows I'm just incredibly happy with the growth that I've made for the past 3 years and the level I am at right now.
And I know you used to do wrestling photography, I believe, with your dad. So how is that? Like, how is it different? I guess just kind of taking the photos on the sides to actually being in the ring and performing.
So I knew I always wanted to be in the ring performing, but the wrestling photography was my way in. And it at times it was so much fun because I was meeting so many different people, and then other times it was so stressful because you're trying to get people to come take pictures because the promoter was like, I need this person, and they never want to take photos, and I'm like, okay. Luckily, I got away. Most of the time, they're like, "Oh, it's the cute little girl. Yeah, I'll go take pictures with you real quick."
That's awesome. And would you say there's someone that's like your favorite picture you've taken so far?
Oh, so some of my favorite pictures I took were at the Making Town Classic, and I love this one of I think it's Harlow, and I just love the colors and it was so pretty. And then another one was at SCI. I had a colored background, and it was just fun.
Yeah. And you, one, I want to say congratulations because you did make it to the PWI list, which I was like excited about because I got to see you wrestle at the We Are Wrestling event. I was there for that event, and that like I thought you was just so energetic and just you seemed like such a veteran already in the ring for just starting out. So how was that like news for you finding that out that you made the PWI list?
I was truly excited because that's one of the big things in wrestling. Oh, you're on PWI. And then it was always a joke between me and my dad. He was like, "You got to be a high number in PWI. Come on." Uh, and he's one of my biggest supporters, and seeing his reaction to it, plus knowing I'm super happy about it, I just love seeing how happy he was and supportive, and the rest of my friends' family. And it was so cool being in that list with so many other great talent, and I was like, dang, this is great.
So I know you take on both men and women. So what are some of your favorite matches you've gotten to do so far?
Ooh. My favorite match by far was me versus Kylie Ray, and I would love to do it again. It was when I was first starting out doing wrestling, and it helped me grow so much. And I feel I've hit a point where I feel the match could be even better now. And it's just that's one of my all-time favorites, and I don't know how I'm ever gonna be past that point. And then another one I had was with Roxy in Texas, New Texas Pro, and I loved her energy. She is just an amazing human, and then being in the ring with her, she's so talented. And then I recently had a match with Nick Wayne in Seattle, and he's just phenomenal. He's younger than me, killing it at the same scene, and uh, yeah, those are my top three, I would say right now, and both all of them were just amazing people that I feel are growing and growing in wrestling and will be over the moon.
I know wrestlers travel a lot, but you're like one of the lucky ones that you have a parent that kind of knows the wrestling scene a bit and then also can travel with you and, make sure everything's on the up and up and stuff. So, how is that for you in regards to like kind of traveling with your dad rather than like other wrestlers who may travel like by themselves or maybe with a stable or something? How is that for you?
Definitely entertaining at times, but also annoying. Like I love my dad so much, but he is the most like extra person. He's like at every trip we need to get donuts, and I'm like, you're not even hungry. You don't even eat them. And he's like, but they're for comfort. They need donuts in the car, and I'm like, we don't need anything. So like sometimes it's just like us goofing around, and I love just being in the car because we'll just talk and talk and talk about wrestling or just life in general. It's like someone who knows me, so it's like I can just talk about whatever.
That's awesome. What I know you mentioned that you kind of always wanted to be in the ring, but what was like that aha moment where you was like, okay, it's time for me to kind of show off what I can do to the world?
I never Everybody like has like this moment for them, and I really could never like put my head on it. It was just from like the instant I saw wrestling, I was like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And then my mindset never changed. I'm a very stubborn person, so I was like, yep, this is what I want. And it was all because like my stepdad played it on the TV one night because that's what he loved. And I was like, what's this? And then my brain was corrupted. I was like, yep, this is all I want.
And did you have like a favorite wrestler growing up? Like that was the person you had to like be in front of the TV to see matches and watch promos?
Definitely Bailey. Bailey was like when I first started watching wrestling, I was like, yeah, I love her. She just all of her energy and everything she had going on. I was like, yep, this is love.
And how did you feel about Bailey's heel turn, like her new gimmick, which I thought she embraced? I loved her as a heel. But what are your thoughts on that? It was such a 100, like 180 from what she was when she was like the hugger Bailey.
It was definitely like a turn that was needed at some point because I feel like after you do something for so long, you do need a change. I don't know about the haircut though. The haircut is like what kills me about it. And I'm like, I hate it. Like everything else, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. Like you're making people upset, and the haircut just gets me. I'm like, anything else.
If someone was watching you for the first time, like never seen you perform before, how would you describe your wrestling persona or your gimmick to somebody who's just being introduced to you for the first time?
um, usually just start off with like, I'm the blue hair girl. I go by Space Jesus. I'm just young, having fun in wrestling.
Nice and to the point. If you could wrestle anybody in any promotion, no matter what it was or any type of match, who would be like your top three people you want to get in the ring with?
Uh, Millie McKenzie, number one, always. I just love her wrestling style. Um, ooh, I'm so picky. uh, Trey Miguel, I would love to be in the ring with him. I think he's so wrestling smart and just an amazing human too. And mm, I haven't been in the ring with Joshua Bishop yet, and I feel like I would have so much fun with him, even though I feel like he would just be tossing me around half the time.
Those are three really like awesome choices because they're great wrestlers as well. I've seen their work and pretty solid. What is your thoughts on like the current state of wrestling? Because we have like all the indie promotions, and now WWE is not necessarily the main wrestling promotion out there. AEW, and more people are now looking at Impact and Ring of Honor. So, what are your thoughts as far as like people coming into wrestling, but even the wrestlers who's been doing it for some time, as far as how everything is right now in 2021?
I think there's so many opportunities for people. Like, uh, most wrestlers' goals when they like get into wrestling is just to make a career out of it. And there's so many more options now with WWE not being the only thing that you can make a career off of. And there's wrestlers who are even making career with just being part of like the indies. Like Effie is a great example of this. He is marketing himself so well, and then being smart with merchandise and just entertaining people, doing Twitch streams, and he's made a living just doing wrestling, and that's his only income. And I feel like if there's like anything we can learn from that is like there's so much opportunity in wrestling now that this can be all we do for the rest of our lives and
Yeah.
live happily. And I feel like even with like what we dealt with COVID and still are dealing with, um, like there's so much like time that we had to grow. Like I was still training every day and trying to get better. And I feel like so many wrestlers took that as just a break, and it really truly wasn't a break.
Mhm. Yeah, I definitely agree that there are definitely a lot more opportunities. I feel like I'm pretty new to the indie scene, like maybe 5 years when I realized like, oh, there's all these indie shows, and I was like completely oblivious to this. So now I try to go to as many as I can just to support like all the local wrestlers, like the show. There's people want to watch, you know. So what would you say is like the best part about being on the road, and then the worst part about being on the road as a wrestler?
Ooh, best part, um, probably just traveling and seeing new things. Like I always just love being in a new place. I say this like I feel like stuck at home sometimes, and I'm like, there's something wrong. Why aren't I in a car in a different city? What's going on? But like the other part about traveling so much, I don't get to see a lot of my friends. So since I'm always out of town, I am just never like home, and I'm like, hey, I'm sorry, I'm busy. I won't be able to come over. Oh, I can't do this. So like I've like not been able to like hang out as much, but it's like the cost of it, and like I still talk to my friends and have time for them when I do not have wrestling on the weekends.
And would you say, with regards to school purposes, like how is that doing? Because I know you're like super young and you're like traveling and stuff. So how is like incorporating schoolwork with wrestling and still making sure you have time for like self-care time and social time and stuff like that?
Definitely a struggle sometimes, but I'm lucky that I have a really great support system. Like my parents are super supportive, and so are my friends. And then most of my teachers are very like working with me. I'm like, hey, I am gone all weekend. I cannot do this homework that you assigned on Friday. If you assigned it earlier in the week, I would have done it. And most of them are like, oh, I'll give you a day extension or this or that. And I'm like, okay, cool. And like most of the time, I still will like struggle through it. I wrote my 1,000 word essay on the way to Seattle because I was like, oh, this is due on Monday. I need to knock this out because I only got like the first two sections done. I was like, I got a lot more to go.
How, like, let me rephrase the question, right? What is something that you learned from your dad that you take with you like every day? It could just be in everyday life or wrestling, but what is something that you like hold dear to you that's something he passed on to you?
So like a wrestler a long time ago told me that like you'll get so many more opportunities just being a good person. And I feel like that's life in and out of wrestling. And it's been so true. Like so many people are more welcoming and wanting to give when you are just nice and polite and just wanting the best for everybody else.
I definitely agree about being polite. That's such an important thing I think people forget sometimes. Like just be kind, you know. If you could have like any gimmick type match that you can do with anybody, what kind of match would you want it to be and who would you want to be your opponent?
I feel like I want to do light tubes. Like light tubes would be like I feel like my parents would be very upset that I said that though. And I would probably want it against like Nick Gage, like top of the deathmatch community. If I'm gonna do it, go hard as heck.
Definitely, he's super like hardcore with all that stuff. He just kind of takes it all. Could be me, but I definitely think it would be interesting because you're like so innocent looking. So it's like you take all the punishment from all of that. It'd be like super cool. I know you did say you were a bit stubborn when it came to wrestling, but if you had any other option to do as a career that wasn't in wrestling, what would that be?
See, I was just like, I've been trying to figure this out because I was like, what do I do when school's like out? Do I go to college for something? What do I do with my life? Or do I just go all into wrestling? I want to go all into wrestling, but my mom's like, you need a plan B just in case you get hurt. And I'm like, yeah, okay. But I talked about being a physical trainer, or like I thought it was real interesting, the like allergy shot and like drawing blood, like a doctor kind of, but it's more just like the easy stuff.
See, I mean, I feel like for somebody who takes like allergy stuff, that we need more of those. And you have like a really nice disposition, so that would help people feel comfortable getting that kind of stuff done.
I give like my mom her allergy shot at home because she hates needles and she's like, I'm not stabbing myself. I won't do it. And I was like, okay, just teach me how and I'll do it. And I learned how and I was like, this isn't too bad. I would do this for other people.
That's definitely see you got to help your mom, and then you can help other people if that's like a background option. So that's good to have because a lot of people don't like needles.
I don't know why, but like I've never been like afraid of that stuff. It was always just like, why? I don't want to do it.
If somebody was trying to break into wrestling and they came to you and was like, Billy, what advice would you give me? What would you tell this person trying to break into the wrestling industry?
Um, just like hit the road as soon as possible. Like the more and more you travel, the more and more people you meet, and more likely you're going to meet people who are going to help you, and you'll get better so much quicker.
Great advice. So we're gonna do a quick little like speed round of questions. So so I'm gonna say something and then you tell me like the first thing that pops up in your head when I ask. Okay. Last song you had on repeat.
Olivia Rodriguez, driver license.
Love that song. Great song. Last show you binge watched.
Squid Games.
Oh yes.
Oh
Oh my
yes! Oh
gosh.
my god!
That show's
It was
amazing.
amazing. I was literally last night finished the entire thing, and I was like, "What is going on?"
I'm kind of
I'm
now
kind of
because I
mad
have to
because I
wait for
have
the
to wait
next
for the
season
next season
because
because
too
yes,
much.
too much.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Definitely a night owl.
What is like a favorite food of yours that it's like I will always eat this no matter what time of the year I'm eating this food?
Slim Jims. I love Slim Jims. I don't know why, but I'm like, yep, give me that right now.
If you were stuck on an island and you can only bring three things, what three things would you bring?
Um, my childhood blanket. It's number one. Always has to be with me. I would not sleep without it. Um, my phone and uh, can I bring an animal? Can I bring my dog? I'm gonna bring my dog with me. My childhood blanket. Um, second, my phone, and third, my dog. I want my dog with me. I need entertainment.
What is your favorite movie of all time?
Ooh, Heather's. Heather's is my favorite movie.
That's so cool. My daughter actually just told me about that. So I watched it recently. And I was like, okay, I see why you like it. Like, I literally just got introduced to it like maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So it's cool that you said that. If you can talk to anybody, dead or alive, no matter who it is, who would you have a conversation with and why?
Ooh, I feel like I would like to talk to like Triple H or somebody because I feel like they're so wrestling smart, and I'm like, yeah, I would learn so much from him.
Favorite snack that's not a Slim Jim.
I was about to hit repeat on that one. Um, ooh, probably like sour cream and onion chips. I really like sour cream and onion chips.
Nice. And the last speed round question. your favorite face in wrestling and your favorite heel in wrestling.
Ooh, favorite face, Everett Connors. Favorite heel is Ricky Shane Page.
Oh, nice. So I wanted to give you the floor if there's anything you wanted to promote or share with the audience. The floor is yours to let them know what's going on.
Well, if you guys want to follow me on social media, all my social media is at Billie Starkz, Billie, and then Starkz is Starkz. And if you want to check out some of my merchandise, it's linked in my Twitter bio, or you can go to bigstarksbrand.com.
Nice. And what's the next show you have? So maybe people can come and check you out at your next show.
This weekend I'm at First Wrestling in Minnesota, and it's actually all sold out. So sorry, no one can attend that one. And then Saturday I am at a merge in Indianapolis.
Nice. So, despite of the technical difficulties, I want to thank you so much for bearing with me with all of that and for coming on the podcast. It was great to have you on. Like,
Thank you so much for having me.
okay, everybody, check out her social media, support by buying some merchandise. And if you can make it to a live event that she is at, please definitely go and support. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me.